guys, I'm not out here trying to shit on manifestation, okay? Manifesting, it is what it is. It is a method. It is something that exists on the dual plane of existence. I totally understand because it's something that makes us feel better about ourselves, especially when we have come from seemingly, poor mental health, or something happened in our lives that we felt some type of way about, and then we hear about manifesting and we think it's going to completely change our lives, and then it gives us this high that we feel, it makes us feel better, right? And so then we just continuously are chasing that high. We're judging our emotions, our feelings, and we're trying to figure out all the things that we can do. It's a whole entire process, and that's the separate self loves that. So if that's what you want to do and it makes you feel good, then do that, okay? But there may come a point in time in your life where you are noticing these loops, these cycles, these patterns, even after you have seemingly manifested something into your life that you have wanted. And it can be fun, right? The reticular activation system will show you all the things, and you're like, yes, I'm manifesting this, I am so doing that and this and that. But then we get caught up in what the 3D looks like. And then now we're judging the 3D, and we are managing the 3D at the same time as managing our emotions. And it can get very exhausting. And this is something that I have noticed. This is why I speak on this. So if what you want to do is just manifest things and do the processes and the techniques, then go for it. But if you are one who is sick of that, who wants to understand deeper, right? More of a self-discovery, self-mastery type of deal, exploring what this all is. What is this about? Then I can help you there. But I can't continue to talk about manifesting just to get views, or just because it's the hot topic and that's what people are talking about. And it's interesting because we come into this thinking that we're going to change our lives, that we are the ones who are going to be changing our lives and doing all this stuff. It can seem like this rat race at times. And then you might hear of the non-duality teachings, or the I am, right? And you're like, okay, yeah, this sounds really great. Maybe you're coming from law of assumption or law of attraction, and you're like, oh yeah, this is great. Now I have to deconstruct all of this stuff that I have learned, and it still kind of seems like a process, or we can tend to make it into one. And then you might find yourself in this space of, wow, there really is nothing here. There really is nothing for me to do. There's nothing for me to worry about. And that can seem kind of shocking to the one who still sort of kind of believes in separation, right? Because it can't know the other side. It can't understand it. So you might look at it and be like, well, this is so boring. Like, this seems boring. Now I don't have any desires. I don't want anything. Like, what is happening? But what is happening is you are seeing a shift within. You are noticing that you're going from wanting all of these things and stressing about all of these things to complete relaxing and peace and calm. And you're like, this is polar opposite, right? It's like from one extreme to the other. And so it seems like something has to be off. There has to be some catch here. That can't just be this. But it's not. It's like a stage, all right? It's like the staging area. It's just part of this deconstruction, because we've been operating out of this separate self for quite some time. And then when we hear about this, it's like, well, this is the boring. What do you mean? Now I'm not going to want anything? That's not true. That's why I made the video on who is even creating, who is even manifesting, who is the doer, right? I can sit here and tell you that there's no doer, but until you see that for yourself, you're going to think I'm bananas. And you may hear like, oh, well, I knew that I've always known that I did this, and I knew it was from a past life, and I got this reading and that reading and blah, blah, blah. But that is a story. That is a belief, because there is no doer. There is no doer. All right. The concept of manifestation in itself is separation, because we're saying that I am not this yet. I don't have this yet. I need to get it. I need to manifest it into my life. I need to convince my mind that I have it already, so then I will see it and experience it. Because I still want to feel things. I'm a human too. I need to embrace my human side. Hold on. Why are we mixing spiritual versus human? Why can't there be both? Right? Because isn't that in non-duality, it's both and? There are not two. So I don't know whose crazy idea it was to be like, oh, that person's just way too in their spiritual ego, or that person is just way too living in their human and their ego. You know, hello, that is still duality. That is still separation. Judgment. We are judging. All right. Things like that to notice. Take notice of them. And that's when you can start to see, oh, and that's how you practice and incorporate it into your daily life, so you can distinguish it and you can experience it for yourself, and you will start to see and call it out. You know, I mean, we're not managing and micromanaging, right? This is a daily practice, so that it's breaking habits. It ends up becoming natural, so that it's not something that you have to practice. It is literally just you're now recognizing it. So all of that rest of that stuff gets taken care of for you, not by you. Okay? In the Bible, in John 5:30, where it says, I of myself can do nothing. It is the Father, right? That's what that means. I of myself, meaning I as the separate self can do nothing, right? So if you're sitting there saying, I am God, I know myself as source, I know I am God, that at that point we are still separating ourselves. So I'm manifesting all this stuff because I'm God, and look at what I did, and look at what I did. That is still separation. All right? Taking credit for things that we didn't create can lead us down a path of self-judgment, of micromanagement, of having to do more and more techniques and steps, and going up and down and all these cycles. And again, like, you guys can do what you want, really. I'm not here to burst anyone's bubbles. But if you are finding yourself in these cycles and just absolutely being exhausted, not knowing what to do because you've tried everything, that's what I am here to talk about. I'm not here to talk about, the whys and how do I get him back. And I just, my SP, like, I know I created him, but did you? Did you? Because where do desires even come from? If you don't think your next thought, if you don't know what your next thought is going to be, try it right now. Try to think your next thought. Okay? Our desires are given to us. Okay? They are given to us. And if you say, well, it was the universe. So the universe gave it to me. Or you could even say God gave me this desire. Yeah. But then what do you do with it? You think of it as separate from you, right? Because we're looking at it still, that's the catch-22, that we're still looking at it as it's out there. Gave you this desire just to what? Just to think about it and ruminate on it and think that you can't have it? Would God do that? And it's not to teach you a lesson because you have sinned or because you were bad, right? Nothing through the eyes of God has anything to do with anything good or bad. It just is, and it's all love. You didn't think of the desire. You didn't know about it beforehand. And if we are conditioning the desires, that is duality, that is separation. Conditioning meaning it has to be this way, I have to be this way, this thing has to happen first, it has to be at this time, and all of that. But if we didn't create them, if we didn't manifest them, then manifesting them back would mean that we don't have it. But if we are all things and we already do have everything, then what are we doing? It is just accepting that you already are it, that you already do have it. You didn't place the desire there.